Greetings, my noble knights, it is I, Blaze Templar. And as you might have noticed, we are here with Week 8 of the UAPB, and this is our team builder. We haven't done a team builder for a couple weeks, and I'm sorry about that. Just life has been kind of crazy, been dealing with a lot of stress, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Not that interesting for you guys. So, we're back, and now that we've got a number of those issues sorted out, actually I'm starting to get a little bit of sleep, getting a little caught up, and so, yeah, thankfully as well for us, well, I don't know if it's really thankfully. I'd rather have had the battles. It would have been a nice distraction. But unfortunately, our DBL monotype battle jetted on us, so we didn't get that this last week. But I have set up for the first tournament round, so we are currently undefeated in the DBL, but we're not here for that right now. We are here for our UAPB Week 8 battle, which is in fact against the Houston Regirockets, who brought have a Victini, Celestelia, Sylveon, Crocodile, Mantine, Haxorus, Exploud, Mimikyu, Raichu, Persian Alolan, and Venusaur. Now, the first thing that comes to note is, for the most part, his team naturally outspeeds mine. There's no way I can get past Victini's natural speed. There's no way I can get past Crocodile's natural speed. There's no way I can do that with Raichu and Persian Alolan. A lot of his Pokemon are just way too fast. Haxorus is another one, and Mimikyu is really quick too, so he doesn't have to run quite as much speed investment to still outspeed me, and so he may be running slightly bulkier spread than typical. I don't know. He might actually still want that speed investment just to ensure that he gets the most bang for his buck. I really don't know. But that being said, we did actually substitute out our Korogonal because Korogonal really wasn't serving much purpose for our team. We don't really care about entry hazards at all, and sure, you can stack spikes against me, but whatever. For the most part, my Pokemon kind of stay in and they don't have to switch as much because of what they run. And then when they do switch, it's usually for something really nasty like Trick Room, and then I have the momentum anyway, so losing a little bit of health, not as big a deal. So yeah, that's kind of why I got rid of Korogonal. I really don't have a place for it on my team. It doesn't really fit the mentality. I drafted it thinking it would be great to have a spinner, but that was kind of foolish in the regard that I don't really need one. So that being said, let's get right into the team builder, and we can finally use our Luxray, which is our Week 8 allowed. We picked it on Week 7, swapped it out, so Luxray's coming, and I had it in PIBA as well. Didn't really use it, but at the end I really liked what I was able to do with it. As you can see, I'm running a very different spread from the one I ran in PIBA, because the Pokemon he's got, naturally I can't outspeed very well, so I might as well not bother trying, except for one, which is Mantine, and it is always basically 99.9% of the time going to be a defensive spread, or specially defensive spread, really, which means its investment's going into like HP defense or special defense, depending on how they decide to run it. So there's really no point in trying to outspeed it, but I did put 4 speed EVs in there just so I can speed creep over Mantine, or at least speed tie it if he has the same mentality. So there's that. I could have run 8. Wouldn't hurt to do that. I might end up doing that just to ensure that I have the speed creep, even if he tried to speed creep me. But again, I doubt he's going to want to do that. I ran Light Screen just so I have a buffer on the special side. Intimidate to weaken those physical attacks. Because he's got a Crocodile, I need to weaken those. And because I'm running max HP, max defense on my Luxray, I actually can take an Earthquake. Not comfortably, but I can, and I can go for a superpower, which is an assured 2-hit KO. Well, not quite, because, you know, the defense drop, which means I may actually have to change my spread up a little bit just to ensure the 2-hit KO, because I didn't calculate the -1. We're going to have to do that after the team builder. Have to calculate that -1 to ensure the 2-hit KO. But unfortunately, superpower also drops defense, so I won't be able to go for 2 anyway, even if I wanted to. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep the spread after all. It'd be nice to get a really powerful superpower off as it comes in if I read it, or just get it off in retaliation and switch out. if I can, or even just let Lux rate go down if I have to. I don't want to, but it could be an option if need be. Next is Choice Scarf Gardevoir. Now, unfortunately, even with the Choice Scarf Crocodile, which is likely his Scarfer, will still outspeed me, unfortunately. That or Victini, but I don't see him wanting to bring Choice Scarf Victini against me because it just naturally outspeeds my entire team, so it's kind of pointless to bring a Scarf to Victini. Crocodile, he may not run Scarf, so if he's not Scarfed, I will outspeed. I can destroy it with the Moonblast. I ran Psyshock to help get around Mega Venusaur. I'm running Modest because this actual spread outspeeds everything barring like Choice Scarf Raichu or Venus or Persian or other Scarfers that are of considerable speed. So Gardevoir really is a multi-catch, and so I slapped as much HP investment as I could into Gardevoir just to kind of give it that added bulk, which Gardevoir really doesn't have bulk, but, you know, it does have pretty respectable special defense, so, you know, there's that. Anyway, next was Scissor, and this week I'm just running as much power as I can. Superpower to help get around Crocodile. Bullet Punch will be my main method of attack for obvious reasons, as it hits most of his Pokemon pretty hard, barring the Celesteela, which I have really no business staying in on with Scissor anyway. And again, Celesteela is going to prove to be one of the bigger threats to my team. I forgot to mention, I ran Luxray with Thunder Wave just to cripple things like the Victini on Switch In, Haxorus if it wants to be like a Dragon Dance or Agility set. Mimikyu won't appreciate a Thunder Wave. It can deal with it a lot better than a lot of other Pokemon. Persian would hate getting Thunder Waved, so, you know, it's there to kind of slow down things. That being said, we're going to have to actually move on. I'm sorry about that. Like, oh, duh. Anyway, next was Nidoking. I am running max speed because it does let me... Actually, base 85. I should change the EV spread of that so I naturally outspeed the slower things like the Mantine, the Sylveon, the Celesteela. The things I actually can outspeed... and like Explode, obviously, and then have the rest added into bulk because then I can Trick Room to outspeed that way, regardless. Because it's because of Venusaur. That's right. I remember why I did that was because I wanted to outspeed max speed Venusaur Mega, which I doubt he'll bring, but you know, considering how things have been going, you kind of have to prepare for the worst. And anything outside of that, like the Haxorus, the Mimikyu, whatever, I will need Trick Room to outspeed. So there's that. But this gives me basically the most power for my buck without sacrificing much on the speed investment. I did slap 4 HP EVs in because, you know, it's a good category to drop your EVs into if you have already used in your speed and your attack. Next, of course, is Mamoswine. I really wanted Mamoswine this week because of a couple of reasons. One, it has Earthquake, so I can deal with a Victini. Icicle Crash hits Celesteela okay-ish. It doesn't do great damage, but Celestelia's best move to use against Mamoswine is Flamethrower, which is why Thick Fat's a thing. So, yeah, there's that. And all it can really do is Leech Seed Stall, so, you know, I can just keep going for the Icicle Crashes to kind of get around that. In theory, anyway. I hope I can do it without too much problem. It's also why I have Thunderbolt on the Nidoking, so there's that too. Anyway, this particular spread lets me outspeed basically most of his things, obviously. Base 80, again, struggles with his faster things, unfortunately. But barring that, it outspeeds the Mantine, so I can get a nice, powerful Stone Edge off. One-shot that. So that's, again, kind of why I'm running that. Again, I know I mentioned that Mantine doesn't really run speed investment normally, but I'm trying to cover as many bases as I can. Is it completely reasonable? Probably not, but, you know, I might change that to Adamant just to get the extra power because, again, it's kind of silly to prepare for that. But it does also still let me outspeed Venusaur, or at least speed tie it. So, there's that. I'll have to think about that a little bit. But last and not least is the Pythagoras. I'm running specially defensive Pythagoras. I have been running offensive Trick Room Pythagoras for the most part in this league, but this week I really wanted a special wall to help deal with things like the Celestelia, the Victini, etc. And specially defensive Pythagoras kind of does that. I decided to run Hex and Will-O-Wisp because I already have Thunderwave. There's going to be quite a bit of status flowing from my team. And the things that I do want to burn won't appreciate getting burned. And so status will probably be pretty commonplace on his team. I would really wish I was running Toxic Spikes, but I couldn't really fit it on the set because I really needed Pain Split to keep Pythagoras in the match as long as possible. And, of course, Trick Room to give me that double Trick Room that I've been enjoying quite a bit with this team. So, yeah, again, I'm not quite finished building. I will probably do some changes, like changing Mammothswine to Adamant. But, just smaller changes. Right, I remember now. Never mind, Crocodile. Because if I remember correctly, Jolly Mammothswine, 284, should outspeed a non-Jolly Crocodile. Let's see. I forget. I better check that just to be sure. Yes, it does by 1 point. So there we go. I was right. I had a reason for my madness. It outspeeds Adamant Crocodile, so that's pretty nice. Obviously, barring Scarf variants, but it lets me barely speed creep over. So, yay me. But yeah, that's kind of why I ran that particular set. I could do the same with Gardevoir just for Scarf Adamant instead, but I don't really think I want to justify doing that. And if he's Scarf Adamant, I can play around with Intimidate, Shenanigans, and Mammothswine, and so forth. So yeah, that's the team. And I'm hoping we do all right this week. I just put it together. I was looking at it going, okay, what can I check? What's my biggest problems? Victini, honestly, is the biggest threat to my team this week. Celestelia is a problem, and Megasaur Venus, or Megasaur, I guess that works, Megasaur, is a problem as well. And so I think he's going to want to bring the Victini, the Celestelia, Crocodile, Venusaur Mega, Haxorus, and probably his Mantine are some of the ones that I'm pretty sure he's going to want to bring. He might bring the Explode, run it Choice Scarf, because that just hits really stupidly hard, and being able to hit my team really hard wouldn't hurt him any. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, it's still really weird to see the Trick plus Trick Room combo that I've had to run on Gardevoir a few times. It's a novel combination, but it's worked. It really has, so I can't complain. Anyway, that's the team, and it's time for the battle tomorrow. At least, that's what I hope. So yeah, see you next time. Later.